Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm doing my second trimester recap. I cannot believe we're already here talking about the second trimester. I am about 27 weeks, so technically the third trimester starts your 28th week, but that's like when your third trimester starts. So I feel like I'm basically at that end point of my second trimester. I'm just going to talk about everything I experienced in that chunk of my pregnancy. So if you're interested, definitely give this a thumbs up and keep watching to find out what my second trimester was like. So this is my first pregnancy. If you're just tuning in, you're new here, thank you so much for tuning in to this video. It's a very exciting one. I'm nearing the end of my pregnancy. Cannot believe how fast the time is really going. It's crazy. I feel like life has just been a whirlwind. There's so much going on with work, and then like my husband travels for work, so like just keeping up with like both of our schedules. It's been a lot. So been enjoying it, but it's also been really crazy, and I feel like I've just been really stressed and busy this chunk of my pregnancy. So I'm going to jump in. Let's see. All right, so 14 weeks was around April. That feels so long ago. That was 3 months ago. So yeah, April 26th is when I started my second trimester, or technically the 27th. So yeah, I was just craving a lot of fruit, ice cream, milk, cheese, and also chips. So a mix of like dairy, sweet, and salty, which is like all over the place. I was feeling good for the most part. My nausea had subsided at that point, pretty much for good. I, continue to have a lot of gas pains, constipation. That really just carries through till now, but I'll tell you guys kind of some things that actually have helped throughout. You just learn as you go, honestly, and I just learned a lot by watching other people's videos and just different articles and advice. So information goes a long way when it's your first time. But still felt very tired, headaches. At that point I was having some nausea that would come and go, but it wasn't nearly as frequent as the first trimester. So such a funny thing I noted, when I was about 15 weeks, I laid out in the sun for like a half hour and I got burnt. Like, I usually get a good tan, especially if it's not like for too long. I get like that gradual base tan, but I sat out in the sun that one day and I got burnt. So it just goes to show that like your skin pigment's different. You're a lot more sensitive to the sun, so sunscreen is super important to use if you're going to be out in the sun. So that really, kind of just made me realize that, sunscreen is super important and that maybe tanning isn't really a priority right now. So a couple of weeks in, I noted that I was feeling very tired. It was really hard to stay focused. I've noticed that my brain has definitely gotten a lot laggier lately. It's just hard for me to keep thoughts straight. My memory is a lot less sharp, so working has become very difficult because, maintaining information or just remembering the things I did, or just everyday things like keeping a thought in my head is super hard to do. So the baby brain has definitely kicked in full force, and just drinking a lot of water, trying to eat right, keeping my diet balanced in order to keep sharp and keep my mind agile is the best thing I can really do at this point. Getting enough sleep is so important because your mind is, recuperating at night. You regenerate your cells at night, so it's so important to get enough sleep, taking naps throughout the day if you need it, just to make yourself fresh again. So I started feeling some aches and pains and itchy belly kicking in. So I definitely felt like some hip pains. Sometimes I would wake up and there would be like a pain in just one side of my hip, which is just apparently your hips expanding, your body's moving, your bones are shifting to accommodate a baby to pass through the canal. So some aches and pains were definitely coming my way, and it wouldn't be every single day, but it would be, you know, here and there, and it would be pretty painful actually. It would be significant enough where it would be a little bit difficult to walk that day. Sometimes I would wake up with hip pain, which I will note that that gets worse. But yeah, I started to feel itchier in my stomach, so I definitely felt like my skin was starting to stretch a little more and grow. So belly oil and lotions were definitely a necessity at that point. I was making sure to either put oil or lotion right after a shower, or like just every day, just to keep my skin feeling good and to, you know, prevent any stretch marks or anything like that. Around week 17, I wanted mashed potatoes really bad. I wanted like starches, just all the starches. And then I also reported that I felt my first flutter at 17 weeks, or what I thought I was a flutter, which I can confirm definitely was, because sometimes at first you're not sure, and being a first time mom, I can definitely say that at first it was hard to tell if it was the flutter, and now looking back, since I experience movement a lot now, that it definitely was a flutter. But it's so hard to tell in the beginning. Like, it kind of feels like it might be gas or something else, and it very well could be, but it very well could be the baby. So in the early weeks, it's still really hard to tell if you're feeling baby or something else. My skin was looking pretty good this week. I was also feeling a lot of anxiety. So, you know, just emotionally, my anxiety was getting a little worse. Feeling super insecure and stuff, just like down a lot. The emotions were definitely kicking into overdrive. Up until that point, I was feeling pretty good, pretty happy, pretty stable with my emotions, but during the second trimester, definitely felt like a jump in my emotions, just triggered way more easily, feeling a lot more anxious and worried, stressed, sad. Just some days I would just feel sad all day long. I would just like cry here and there. Something would set me off and I would just be super upset. And then other days I would feel pretty good. So it really just all varies. Experienced some groin pain around 18 weeks, which was a little jarring. It was pretty painful. I'm not really sure what that was, but I remember it was only in my left groin, and I would have to like kind of massage it. Not sure if that's like a Braxton Hick. I've read what those are, and I'm not sure if it was something that was like that. All I know it was painful, and as soon as I got up, it would like really pull and hurt. So just, yeah, some more pulls and tugs and aches and pains. I was really worried at this point about fluid loss. I didn't really know what the heck that meant. They don't really tell you much at the doctor. They just ask if you're experiencing fluid loss. Like, discharge is also fluid. So that's what I thought that they meant, but they're actually talking about amniotic fluid. So if you think that you are leaking amniotic fluid, you definitely need to tell your provider that you may be experiencing that, because they measure how much amniotic fluid is in your is surrounding the baby to make sure that it has enough, and if you're leaking it, it could cause problems. So it can get super serious, but I honestly wasn't experiencing that, but I wasn't sure either. But at my most recent appointment, they confirmed that my amniotic fluid was plentiful, and there was nothing to worry about. So it must have just been extra discharge. And to be honest, the discharge is excessive. Some people wear like panty liners. I just, like, whatever, like, it's in my underwear. I don't really care. It's just a little more excessive than usual. So around week 25, I definitely noticed that I really just started showing. I popped. I definitely felt pregnant. There was definitely a belly there. I mean, there's no denying it. sleeping was getting a little bit harder. I would wake up with the worst hip pain, like excruciating pain. And I am someone who tolerates pain very well. I think it was just from, like at this point I started really using my body pillow, because putting something between your knees really relieves the stress of like your knees stacked together, because your joints have a lot of pressure on them with the newfound weight, sleeping on your side a lot more, so you know you're in that position a lot longer than you normally would be. So I would wake up with excruciating pain in my hips. It would like, oh my god, it felt like the worst pain. You just had to lay there and kind of let it like fade off. But a good body pillow will definitely help ease that stress and tension. So definitely at this point I use my body pillow. Mine's kind of like a weird shaped one. I'll show it in my pregnancy essentials video, but it's a necessity now at this point, because the pain in your hips is no joke. Still so tired all the time, so honestly never got that second trimester burst of energy. I'm someone who has a thyroid issue though, so for me that probably wasn't in the cards, because my thyroid issue definitely takes, like, sucks the energy out of me anyway. So I was just still tired. I'm still tired now. Like sometimes I wake up and it feels like I didn't really sleep that well. My face looks tired. I just feel tired and drowsy. It's hard to focus. So that's just something I deal with, whether I'm pregnant or not. Pregnancy just exasperates it. I want to mention that my IBS was getting worse. I would have such strong gas pains from not being able to release the gas. No matter what I did, I would try yoga, stretching, different foods, drinking so much water, walking, you know, exercising. Nothing would relieve the gas. Just felt like it was stuck in there, and it was the worst pain ever. Like honestly, I feel like I'm ready to experience childbirth, because I've had so many pains just along the way. I'm like, this is excruciating. Why is gas pain so painful? It's crazy, but it is. So I actually started taking chia seeds. I would blend it up in a smoothie, put it in oatmeal. I kind of like upped my fiber a lot, like eating more grains, a lot more fiber-rich foods and drinks, probiotics. Like I drink kefir, which is like drinkable yogurt. It's packed with probiotics. It's really good. You can really taste the culture, the live cultures in it. But that has helped so much just to like relieve like the constipation and the gas. And then just stretching like every other day. Just, you gotta do it, because things start to move around and get a lot more backed up in there, and it's only gonna get worse. So to feel a lot of movement. So I've been feeling a lot of movement since like week 20, I think. Flutters turns into kicks and jabs. Now it's like the baby rolls around, the baby's moving. I can feel its hands, its feet. And it'll be a lot. Like my baby's super active, so love that. That has been honestly the most amazing part, just feeling my baby, knowing that he or she is there. It's very comforting, especially now, you know, in between appointments. You know, before it was like, I hope everything is okay, because I can't feel anything, but now I can feel things. And if I kind of like poke at my belly or drink something, or sometimes if I eat something sugary or something with a little bit of caffeine in it, that gets the baby going. So yeah, it's been great. And then I'm going to touch on a little bit of a TMI subject as far as like sex goes. There have been no issues. We are just as sexually active as we ever were, which is really good. It's healthy, you know, to stay in tune with your partner. It's good for the baby. It's good for you. It's good for everybody, you know, because it releases those endorphins. You feel relaxed. It's good exercise. It's intimacy. So it's just really good to keep up your intimate life if you can. I've noticed that less on your back positions are comfortable for obvious reasons. If I do, I just usually stick like a pillow behind my back, or I kind of like lean on my forearms. You kind of just adjust where you need to, but there's so many positions out there, guys. Like, just look some up. You'll be fine. We've managed, and honestly, it's been fantastic because, you know, you got a lot more juices down there, so that only helps the situation. But yeah, I think it's super important to indulge because when the baby comes, not only are you tired, you can't have sex for like at least 6 weeks. I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. I don't know if I'm gonna survive. Hopefully, it goes quick, but I'm just saying, you know, it's good to like have that time now to just enjoy ourselves, and for my husband and I to connect, because once baby comes, you know, it's gonna shift things. You know, I still think prioritizing your marriage and your relationship is important, but when a newborn is in the house, I mean, there's so many changes and adjustments, it's just gonna kind of throw things off just for a little bit. So yeah, that was my second trimester. Overall, no complaints, there's no concerns. Everything about my health has been great. All my levels are good, my blood pressure's great, baby's cooking in there. I will show a little bit of my belly. It's grown. Not a lot. I'm definitely still waiting for like a bigger bump to show up, but honestly right now it's not a lot. Like, the baby is measuring great, but yeah, feeling good. The second trimester is definitely a good one. So I don't know what to expect in my third trimester. Things could get a little bit achier, more tired. But at this point, like, since I feel good, I'm just excited at this point for this last phase of my pregnancy. So yeah, I will update you guys once I'm at that last chunk, and look out for other videos in between then. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and until I see you next time. Bye.